There we go. And hello and welcome to those of you who are just joining us in from the waiting room. Thank you for coming along today. And also welcome to anyone who's watching this back at a later date. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. And today's session is a digital channel review. So we're going to be looking at best practice tips for your websites and your social media pages. And we'll also be doing a live review of some of your pages during the session. And there will be an opportunity for you to have your pages reviewed, which we hope will be really helpful for you. And the only thing I haven't yet mentioned is you can enable subtitles by clicking on closed captions at the bottom of your screen. And you can also select different languages if you would like to read captions in your preferred language today, just to help you follow along if that's useful. So we've got an exciting agenda planned for today. We're going to start by talking about best practices for your different digital channels. So primarily your websites and your social media pages. And we'll share lots of our top tips to help you optimize your pages. And then we'll go into our live review. So we'll ask you to share your own links to your websites and social media channels for us to review today. And before we do that, we're just going to introduce ourselves for those of us on the call today. And it's great to see lots of familiar faces. I know I've met quite a few of you in one-to-ones and previous live sessions. But for anyone I haven't yet met, my name is Jasmine, and I'm the digital training lead on the Bridge team here at Lightful. So I have the privilege of working with all of you amazing organisations as you go through the Bridge programme through our webinars, our one-to-ones, and providing our Lightful Academy content and resources too. But before I started working at Lightful, I spent quite a few years working in marketing, specifically focusing in digital marketing and social media. And I did that for a few different organisations. So today's session is one that I always particularly enjoy. There's so much potential in the way that we use our digital channels. And there's a really great opportunity for everyone here today to make sure that your digital channels are set up to work really well and engage your audiences and help you ultimately to achieve the goals that you've been setting. So that's an intro from me. I'm also going to hand over to Svetlana, who's on the call today as well.
Thank you, Jasmine. And hi, everybody. My name is Svetlana, and I'm one of the digital communication coaches on the Bridge program. So you might have already seen me before during our live session and one-to-ones. As part of my experience in the nonprofit sector, I have been building partnerships between grassroots organizations and funders, helping them raise funds to become more effective. And I have also been leveraging digital communications to promote charitable giving to local charities in Ukraine to enhance their visibility. So I truly believe that our topic today is extremely important and relevant in the current digital landscape. So let's run through our learning outcomes for today. So firstly, after this session, you will hopefully understand best practices for nonprofit websites and social media pages. Secondly, you will be able to identify key features that make nonprofit websites and social media pages effective. And lastly, hopefully you will be able to feel equipped to conduct an audit of your own website and social media pages. So now let's dive into some website best practices. And firstly, I want to ask you the question, why is your website so important? So please share your thoughts in the chat. And I think it is because the first place people will often look to find more about an organization is your website. So you have an opportunity to share key information about your website, which can be useful for potential supporters, donors, volunteers, and service users. And a professional website will increase the likelihood of visitors trusting your organization, making them more likely to share your website with their own networks, as well as take valuable actions such as donating, for example. And so building a website is more than having a place where supporters can make online donations and interact with your services. Sharpening your organization's narrative through a website requires thoughtful content, bright identity, and user-friendly functionality. Your website should be a place for you to represent your organization and showcase what you do in an impactful way, telling a story that encourages people to engage with you. Websites also provide a great opportunity for your organization to collect important user data, such as how many clicks a specific page has had, where your visitors are being directed to your website from, and what they interact with the most. And we know from our previous masterclass that it is really important and useful to do this kind of research to shape your content, as it helps you understand the behaviors of your audience and target them better. So we would like to hear from those of you on the call now. What do you think makes a great website? So what do you think are key components of the good website? Please let us know by posting in the chat. What do you think makes your website good? Are there some specific features or maybe some design elements that make your website look good and make it engaging for your audience? There are a couple of examples of pages on your screen now to warm you up, but please have a think about what you have seen before. Have you seen some good examples before from other websites, or is there something you think other websites could improve? I see some responses already coming through. So I see a reply from Grace, good graphics, and it is user-friendly. Yes, I totally agree. Mission, vision, and pictures. Yes, of course, thank you. Which it is a great comment, showing exactly how we solve the problem that is our mission. Yeah, I totally agree, Maria. Thank you. So yes, showing this connection between your mission and your activity is really important. Frequent posts with photos about results of project activities. Yeah, it is a great way to showcase your impact and show what you do and how you achieve your results. Good navigation for the users, photos from events, activity reports, design, information, volunteers list and photos, testimonials. Yes, great addition, Daniela. Monitor visitors. Yeah, thank you very much. Those are all great comments. Yes, I totally agree with Jasmine. So yeah, those are really good examples of what makes a good website. So now let's move on and summarize those comments with some tips for your website. So I'm going to share our top tips that make a great website that grabs attention and makes your audience engaged. So firstly, I guess you will agree that websites with simple, clear, and concise copy are the most effective. The text on your website should contain all the relevant content without being too lengthy and disorganized. So please aim to avoid being too text heavy, as a healthy balance of text and imagery avoids overwhelming your audience, and it also visually communicates your message. Some of the key areas effective nonprofit websites include on the website are who you are, your mission, your services, and projects. Impact reports and statistics then bring this to life and make it emotive. Shed light on the amazing work you do and showcase the best of your organization through case studies. You also need the key information about how people can get involved, so your contact details, how visitors can support you as a volunteer by signing up to your newsletter, and all importantly, as a donor. You ultimately want visitors to complete a specific action on each page of your website. So for each of your pages, make it clear what each page is about by using short and clear headings. Make sure you know what the objective of each page is. Have one purpose in mind for each page. So what is it going to achieve? Is it to share impact, to share case study, or share information about a campaign? What action do you want the user to take after visiting this page? This should be all really clear from the first glance at your page. Group content on the same theme together. So sometimes I see from a lot of nonprofit websites is lots of different web pages with a small amount of copy on each, and similar topics spread across multiple pages. This makes it hard for your website user to find the information they're looking for, and it makes it hard for your audience to maintain attention, and it makes it hard for you to maintain your website as you have many pages to maintain and to edit. And use actionable and value-driven words such as act now and donate here. Your copy should entice people to act, be direct, and make the ask. Also, it is important to include bold and compelling visuals. So adding powerful and high-quality imagery is a quick and easy way to improve your website pages. If you notice that your web pages look text-heavy, adding photos and videos are a great way to help break this up and relay large pieces of information. Infographics can be another great alternative to communicate statistic-heavy information in a nice way that doesn't overwhelm the reader. To make sure all visuals align with your organization's branding, create cohesion between your colors, fonts, and any images that you use. Identify your brand colors and how your organization looks, and be true to that, so people will always know what content is from your organization, so they will be able to identify it in their newsfeed, for example. To make your content more personal, include images that show your visitor why they should support you and how it will impact your cause. This could be an image of your new project that you have just launched, for example, and high quality and memorable images that really represent your work well are your hero images, and these can be spotlighted and used as banner images at the top of your homepage. Update your donation page during your campaign periods with campaign branding and imagery, and make sure the page looks appealing and it's kept up to date. This will be the last page people see before they make a donation, so make sure that it is a positive experience for them. And the next tip is to keep your page simple and easy to use. So don't try to include too much information, especially on your homepage. It can be very overwhelming arriving on a page that is full of content. So keep it clear and simple. Only include the very essential information on your homepage, and that entices people to look through your website. A homepage is really a navigational location, so it should direct website users to the different subpages of your website. You do not want the homepage to host too much content on the page itself. A short introduction to your organization, your purpose, your key current campaigns, and your biggest achievements is plenty of information for the homepage, as long as each of those sections links to the subpages for each of those topics. Could you please open the next slide, Jasmine? So for each of your web pages, make it clear what page each page is about using short and clear headings, as I mentioned before. So make sure you know what the objective of each page is. Don't just add lots of pages with all of the information you have. So as I mentioned before, it is important to have a purpose in mind for each page. So what action do you want the user to take after visiting this page? This should be all really clear from the first glance at your page. And front load your information. So make sure that the most important content on each page is at the top of the page, so you don't bury it later on the page. And on your screen, you can see an inverted pyramid that shows how to front load your content. So at the top of your page, you need to post the most important information. And further down the page, you can follow up with supporting information and some important details. And at the end of the page is where you put your background information. So this format keeps people attention the longest. And also, it is important to make sure your website is easy to navigate. A visitor should be able to find information they are looking for within a few seconds of visiting their website. It can be a good idea to conduct tests by asking some supporters to explore your website and see how long it takes them to find certain information. Or you can use platforms such as Hotjar that shows you a heat map of your website so that you can see where users move, click, and scroll to understand what's working well and what might be proving a bit more confusing. Your header menu and your footer menu are really key to optimizing your website navigation. These are the elements that are visible across your website, whatever page the visitor is on. So pin this in place so that they are always visible when, even when people are scrolling down. And remember, visitors can land on any page of your website, so they don't always come to your homepage first. Search engines and links from social media and your email campaigns and other websites all enable visitors to start their journey with your website from any part of it. So every page on your website, think about the user journey. How can the user get back to the homepage from every other page on your website? And what is the next step for the user after the page they're on? Is there a clear onwards journey? So did you include the call to action at the end of the page? On your header menu, your donation button is likely to be one of the most important places you want visitors to find quickly and easily. So make it stand out by highlighting it and in a bright and eye-catching color, and put a border around it. And the last but not least, it is important to make your website accessible. So always consider and reflect on how user-friendly your website is, how easy it is to navigate, do the buttons work correctly, and is everything clear? Is the design clear? Is the font easy to read in terms of size and color? Is there enough contrast on your page? Like we have mentioned before, include alternative text for the images, which means people who are using a screen reader can understand what the image is. And finally, it is important to make sure the website works well on a desktop as well as phones and tablets, as a lot of people across the world browse the internet solely on their mobile devices. So their experience with your website should be as smooth as if they were using their laptop. And now let's take a look at some of the examples here. So we really want to hear your opinion on some of these websites. So please let us know what you think about this example in the chat. What do you like about this website? Or is there something you don't like? What are some particular features or design elements that capture your attention? For example, what do you think about this website overall? Please let us know in the chat. Thank you, Grace. It's really concise and simple. Yes, I agree. Main picture. Yeah. What do you like about this picture, Janina? Is there anything you would like to add? What do you like about the picture or a copy, for example, or maybe colors, overall design of the website, sweet face of the child? I think it has to have the whole boy in. I see. Okay, maybe. I agree that, yeah, sweet face of the child really brings attention. Joyful face, yes, I totally agree. It looks inspiring and really nice. Not enough of information on the poster. Well, yeah, I probably agree, but I guess it is the first screen. So if you scroll down the website, you will definitely find more, I guess. But this first screen will help you identify what organization is doing and how you can be a part of their work, so how you can help them. The use of colors, I think it is simple and exact example because of those elements, like the color matching and the smile of the children, but you understand the context. Yes, I totally agree. The picture invites donors, and like the highlights and donate button. Yes, I totally agree. The donation button is really clear here and it really brings attention. Thank you all for your comments. Those are really great comments. And let's see the next one then. So what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one, about its design? Is there something that grabs your attention, or is there something you would improve about this one? This one does have the image and too much text. I guess it is about the previous. I guess about this, it's about this one, right? Because I don't see an image here. I guess it's just clear, but no photos to play. Yes, I totally agree. Hard to focus and find the main thing I should read. Yes, there is not enough. It's not really grabbing attention, I guess. There are no photos, neither poster. Yes, totally. I totally agree with all of your comments. So yeah, it is a bit too text heavy and there is no image that would grab your attention. So it is not really clear what this page is trying to tell us. Too much text and it does not look a website that will be easy to navigate. Yeah, I totally agree. Not too inviting. Poor design in text and font is too small and no colors and images. Yes, and also there is no visible donation button, so it is difficult to find how to help organization, I guess. So yeah, thank you all for sharing. Those are really great comments. Thanks. And let's move to the next one then. So what do you think about this one? Do you like the image? Do you like the design? Are there any other particular elements that you can highlight? What do you think about this first page of the website? I will give you some time to write some comments. Image and the message and the image don't really show how the salvation is happening. Yeah, probably. Yes, it's impacting image. Like, what do we say? Yeah, probably yes. Yes, it just shows the boat. Maybe it would be great to add some people to it. Visual messaging. What do you think about this headline and also about the donation form that is visible down? Donation monthly is a good place. Yes, I totally agree. I think it is great to have this recurring donation call to action. Are there any other comments? Good, but doesn't have all required headers. What could you please expand on what do you mean there? Do you mean that they should add more buttons to the header? The message is on the contract. That is very good for people. Yes, I totally agree that there's good contrast. People need more information and a small story about what happened. I guess it will be visible if you scroll down. I hope so. But I guess, yes, there could be could add more information about how the salvation really works. There is a press to donate. Yes, there is a donation button that is really visible on the right and also under the heading. More information about what they do. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I agree with like all of the comments, and I guess it is a good example of how you can share your mission in just a few words. So it is a capturing heading that really grabs attention. And also I like the donate monthly button that encourages you to make recurring donations so that organization can use them and use your support to be more sustainable throughout the year. The impact message, image, and the message. Look, I want to know more. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all for sharing your thoughts and comments. They were really great. And I think it's now time for us to look at social media best practices. And for that, I will pass you over to Jasmine.
Perfect. Thank you, Svetlana. And yeah, what great comments from everyone. That's been really helpful to see all of your thoughts and suggestions. I think, yeah, brilliant contributions. And there will be more for that in a few moments. So keep them coming. It's always really helpful to see. Thank you. And we're now going to look at the things that you need to consider when setting up your social media pages and really making sure that they're set up well. And this can help you drive the engagement that you want to see from your audience. And really thinking about social media channels, they are free tools which can help you amplify your message. And there's lots of things kind of ready-made, it's not like creating a website. There's lots of structures in place which you can use to set them up really well and make sure that they're doing lots of the work for you in terms of providing people with your key messaging. So an opportunity for audience participation again. I'd love to hear from you before we share our tips. So thinking now about social media pages, and that might be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, what do you think makes a good social media page or a piece of content? So are there some key things that you think organizations should make sure that they do? Anything you think they shouldn't do as well? So think about social media pages that you see in your feeds that you really like to engage with, or perhaps ones that you don't, and kind of share in the chat to let us know what you think makes a good social media page and what are the key components for that. And then in just a moment, I will talk you through our tips, and then it will be time for our live review. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. Great. So yeah, a clear and definite bio. So yeah, exactly. You've got this like small bit on top of each of your pages to really articulate who you are and to stop someone from going somewhere else. Sorry, I think there we go. Having high quality pictures is great. Mobile friendly is a really good point. When you think about how much time people spend on social media, the majority of it is on their phone. So you want everything to be things that you can read on a small screen. And yeah, lots of suggestions about pictures and videos. I really like that comment from Lena about the results of your project activities with photos and videos. So thinking about how you're telling your story, sharing your impact visually. And Maria says it's very important to think about people with visual disabilities, also who are deaf. Do they need clear information, high color contrast, words with clear fonts, and describe the photo? Absolutely, Maria. We really want our content to be as accessible as possible for people with different needs. And so that's really important to think about on all of the content we create as well. And yeah, having clear messages, yeah, really helpful contributions, everyone. Yeah, having a simple page that's inviting for donors, refresh your information regularly. Yeah, really great tips, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone's social media pages after all of those comments. So we're going to have a quick look at the things that you need to consider when setting up your pages and make sure that they're really set up well. So if you have more suggestions as we're talking, please do feel free to keep them coming. And if you've got questions for each other, do continue to use the chat. But as someone has kind of already said, you want to make sure that the basics are all set up. So your social media handles, page names, profile pictures are really clear, and they're easy to find. And you want to be recognizable, and so people know that it's you, that they will recognize your organization as soon as they see your content. So as we've said, you've got your bio, so you can put your mission statement here. You can put key information like your contact details, where you're based, and what you do. We really want to make it as easy as possible for people to find out about your organization. You don't want them to really have to put in any effort at all to find out what it is you're trying to tell them. And you can add links to your website. So put this in your bio, or you might want to use third-party tools like Linktree or Link in Bio to put multiple links in that bio section. And remember, if you're running campaigns and you're directing people to your donation page, add that link rather than just your generic website link. You want to, again, make it really easy, take away any barriers. And then also make the most of your pinned posts, cover photos, and highlights depending on your channel. So you can see some examples on the screen now. But having the opportunity to put some posts at the top means that when someone lands on your page for the very first time, you can make sure that that information at the top is really relevant in telling them who you are and what you're about. Because you know, the most recent post might be something really specific, which is fine, but it might not be the best thing to help a complete newcomer understand who you are and want to kind of follow you. And we also want to create content that drives action. So we want to share content regularly and make sure that every post you put out there aligns with one or more of your goals and what it is you want your audience to do. But you don't have to post every day. I think a lot of people think we have to post all the time, but really it's about finding a schedule that works for you and keeps up that engagement with your followers. And when it comes to a campaign period, think about how you can reinforce your messaging and make sure all of your posts have a clear call to action, so everyone knows exactly what it is you want them to do after they've read your post. And tailor your post to your specific channels and audiences. Don't just put the same post out across all of your social media channels. Think about who is reading your posts on those different channels and what it is they'd like to see and what's most likely to engage them. And it might be different formats of the same message. It might be content that's tailored to any specific challenges or barriers that you know this audience might be facing. And as we've said lots of times in the chat, you want clear, engaging, high quality images. And you can also use relevant hashtags on channels like Instagram and LinkedIn to be seen in people's feeds who are interested in that topic, and also tag relevant users or pages. If you have any ambassadors or partners to tag, make sure you do that as well. And that just helps increase that reach of your content. And then build your community. And social media channels offer a really great opportunity to build your community and share an insight into your organization's value and personality. And it's a great opportunity to have that two-way engagement with real people, and it can give you a great insight into what your audience wants to see as well. And a good way of building your community is to make sure that you're responding to comments and messages in a timely manner. And you can prompt audience engagement by making it clear in the post what it is you want people to do. So whether you want them to like, to share, to comment below, to let you know what they think. And then also have a plan for how you will manage users who might share any spam or offensive content. And if that's something you experience a lot of, then we can help with that. So let us know in a one-to-one. And also invite people to follow your page when they've engaged with your content. If you have an organization hashtag, you can put that in your bio. And there's lots of different ways you can build communities on each channel. So on Facebook, you can engage audiences with questions and polls. Similar to LinkedIn, you can add LinkedIn discussions. Or I know lots of you use WhatsApp or Telegram and have groups and communities in those spaces as well. So there's lots of options really, and it all depends on your audience and what it is that's going to be most useful for them. So those are just a few quick tips. And I know lots of you had other great tips in the chat as well. So make sure you read through and see what everyone else has had to say. But just before we head into our live review, we're going to launch a couple of polls. So the first one actually coming up is slightly different to the one on your screen. And this one is asking whether your website and social media pages help to achieve your organization's goals at the moment. And so your options are that they do help you achieve your goals, or they might do a bit, but you think they could be more effective, or no, they're not currently helping you to achieve your goals. And then after you finish voting in that one, I'm going to launch a second poll. But while I'm doing that, if you've already voted, if you would like us to review your website and or social media pages in the session today, then please pop the links in the chat and we will start working our way through them. And we'll do some reviews for the rest of the session today. So pop your links, and it might be you want us to look at your donation page on your website. Maybe it's your LinkedIn channel, whatever channel you'd really like us to give feedback on, then put a link to that and we can share some insights with you today. Thanks everyone for your votes in that poll. I'm just going to launch that second one now, and that's just asking how often you complete an audit of your website or social media pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this live review, and we're going to do, I guess, quite short reviews of as many as we can fit in the rest of the time today. But if you'd like to go into more depth, and if we don't have time to review your pages today, please make sure to book in a one-to-one, because we can dedicate the whole of a 45-minute one-to-one to these sessions. So I can see lots of links coming through. Thank you, everybody. I'll just start getting those ready and then we will start our review. But there are lots coming through, so that's great to see. So first up, let me change my screen so you can see it. Okay, great. I can't quite see who shared this one, but whoever got their name in first, Grace, you shared first, so thank you so much for sharing. And one thing also I'd encourage you to do, I think everyone had some really great comments as we asked for tips, and I think there's lots of experience here in the room, so please do comment and share constructive and helpful feedback for each other's pages as well. That would be really great to see. So I'm just going to have a look at this website to start with. So Tabitha Home, I think my first impressions here are that the site is giving like a really positive, a really friendly impression, and I think that's a really good thing to do. I think we talked about that earlier with one of the examples of having you know, happy imagery that's really inspiring hope. And you know, this slogan that's just come up saying giving them a future with love and care, what a lovely positive way to convey this message. And I think it's helpful initially, like what jumps out, you've got a really clear colour scheme, and I think that's really nice. I think also, like I know Maria had mentioned earlier, having that high contrast between colours and text. From my perspective, this font is really clear, it's really accessible for people. And yeah, I really like this scrolling banner actually. Just while we've been looking at the first page, we've seen lots of lovely pictures. And what they've done here, which is really good, is they just have 3 of these tiles. And what we say is we would not recommend having more than 5 if you have a scrolling banner on your website. And that's because people don't usually sit and look at all of them. So having 3 is a great number, and I think that's really cool. I also think that menu is really clear, and we love a highlighted donate button. I think that's really important if you're looking to increase online donors. We often think that, of course, everyone knows that you want to donate, but actually we need to make it stand out to make that really clear for people. And when I click on here, I can see we've got some different ways to donate. So by bank transfer, by global giving, and you can click through to the global giving page. And I think, I guess from a donation page perspective, it'll be really great to be able to embed a donation tool into this page. So whether that's through a third-party tool, through global giving itself, sometimes you can embed that into the page so they don't have to leave the site, and making it as easy as possible would be a great thing. And also, once you get to the page, I know Svetlana said this earlier, this is kind of the last stage or last opportunity to prompt people to donate. So you had that lovely imagery and text on your homepage, and we've got kind of a little impact section here, but maybe at the side you could have like a story of impact or options of how much you could give. So that could be really helpful as well. So that I think could help move more people through to donate. And sometimes explaining, you know, what different gift amounts will do will really help people go ahead and make that donation. But I'm conscious of time, so I think I will have to limit myself to spending just a couple of minutes on each. But I think, yeah, really great first impressions of the site, and I think a really nice kind of quick win for that donation page as well. Svetlana, do you want to take over and do the next one? We'll swap.
Yeah. Yes, I can continue with this website review. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. It's Jacques Aissat-Afolabi Foundation. So my first impression that it looks really, really great. I really like the hero image here, which is really positive and I guess inspiring, and it's really warm. So I feel good when I see it. So I really like it. I think it also have good header here. Which is pretty clear and easy to navigate. I think that my suggestion would be is to pin it so that if people are scrolling through your website, it will follow them through all of the page. So they can navigate and like jump to another page when they would like to. I really like that you have this short description in the beginning, and it's really explaining what you do and some results that you have been able to achieve. So I think that is really, really great. I think that there are quite a lot of files that you have pinned there. Maybe you could just move them a little down or move them to another page, because this is probably the very start. So it is great to have your reports visible. I guess it is really important for transparency and showing your credibility, but I guess there are like quite a lot of them. So maybe you could keep just like top 3 more that are the most important. It's also great that you have the what we do and this kind of section with all of the projects that you do that explain what your activities are, and they have pictures, and you can click on learn more and see more further. So I really like that. I think it's great. Probably there are quite a lot of them. So if it is possible to group them in any way, so I say that there are like a few projects related to education. So maybe it could be a good strategy to group them. So it would just look a bit more light on your website, because there are quite a lot of pictures. So I think I would need to add some text here as well, because it looks like there is a lot of pictures here. And it's great that you have mentioned your partners and an option to donate, but I guess it would be also great to put the donation button here on top and make it more visible. So probably make it with another color or add some borders, so it will be clearly visible, and it would be easy for people visiting your website to donate. So I think those are just a few improvements that you could make, but I think that your website looks great overall. I think I will then pass to Jasmine now again, because we have not so much time.
Great, thank you. Great. Well, I've picked an Instagram page because I saw that pop up in the chat. I think that was Maria that shared it. And I'm going to do my best, of course, not being able to actually read the copy myself. I'm going to give some initial impressions based on the visuals. And I think this is great. I think this is what we were talking about earlier when I said make the most of your highlights, which you're doing, and your pinned posts. And I think this is a really good example for those on the call today. If you have an Instagram page, this is a really key feature to make the most of, because you can see as soon as we come to this page, we know exactly what to look at, where we can find out information about the organisation. And the other thing that I like is we've made the most of Instagram changed that we can now have more than one link in our bio, which is very generous of them. And so it's great that you're making the most of this. I can see you've got the donation page on Global Giving there in your bio as well. So I think that's really great. And I was actually just enjoying this video that has come up, which I know is like a collaborative video, something that you've pinned to the top of your page, which is really cool. And yeah, I think having video content is clearly engaging for your audience, and looks like you've worked with potential, maybe it's ambassadors, maybe influencers in that space, which is great. And then I'm interested in, I guess some of this content is really cool. I can see that you're giving introductions into kind of who you are, what programs you have on offer. And I really like this kind of visual way of going through what could be very text heavy. You've made it easy to swipe, and we're actually seeing this sort of content being very popular on Instagram now, where people are looking to find information, and having text-based graphics is something that we do see a lot of, which maybe 6-7 years ago we didn't see very much of. It used to be just photographs. So I think that's a really helpful example. The only thing I would think about maybe is where you've got the cover of this. It's great to have it on brand, and I really like that. I wonder if there's something about pulling out the kind of heading of each one so that it's really visually engaging and people know, this is a different one because you followed that similar pattern. Or maybe actually when it comes to planning your content, interspersing that with some of the other elements as well, because I always recommend to have introductory posts like this, and this is what I always tell people to do, of having an introduction post and information about your programs. But you've also got some really nice photographs further down. And I can see you've got some campaign information. So maybe it's a case of thinking about the balance of content. Lots of people earlier shared how much they appreciate seeing photographs. So perhaps mixing that up would be really cool as well. So that's really helpful to see. And great, I can see, Maria, you posted in the chat that you're celebrating Deafblind this month. So yeah, people go ahead and have a look at the page, follow them, and it looks like there's lots of really helpful educational content on there as well, that will help us all with our accessibility too. So yeah, it's great to have an Instagram page to look at. That's really helpful. Svetlana, would you like to go ahead and do the next one? Oh, you are on mute, Svetlana.
Sorry, thank you for spotting this. Yeah, so here is the website page of CCIARA charity, and my first impression is also this looks really great, and there are a couple of hero images that are quite positive and engaging and inviting, and there are some clear call to actions to follow, which I like a lot. I think that you could improve your donate button so it will be more visible once again. So like when I press on it, it is more visible and it becomes white and contrasting to this orange header. So I guess yeah, highlighting it a bit more could be a good improvement. But I like that you have added your three main activities on the top, and they're explaining what you do. It's really great. And also I like this short about us description, which clearly and in a concise manner explains what you do. And another thing I think is really great is this testimonial from your founder trustee, and also this person's photo, which really grabs attention, and it adds this personal touch, which I guess is really, really great and grabs attention, and also makes establish trust with this organization. And I see that there are also some results of your work which are clearly visible, and also some call to actions on how one can help, and also some programs that people can get involved with. So, and also a latest event highlight, which is really great to see. So there are a lot of what is going on, and a lot of results that you can share, and also a gallery with clear and really high quality photos that describe what you are doing. And I also like that you have highlighted your partners, which is a great strategy, I guess. And also this invitation to subscribe to your newsletter. So as we have mentioned, having a call to action is really, really great. So I guess it is great to have this call to action at the bottom of the page. Another thing I think that we could look at is a donation button and donation page. So I guess, yeah, it is pretty, one thing that I like is that you have some description near the donation form that explains how this donation will be used and why do you need this donation and how it will impact your beneficiaries. So you have some details on how one can donate to your organization, and also a form that one can fill in. I guess one way to improve this page would be to add a hero image here as well. So it will add this maybe personal touch. So you can add a picture of your team or a picture from one of your programs or your events to showcase a bit better what this donation, what kind of impact will this donation make. But overall, I think it looks great. So I will hand over to Jasmine for another review.
Great, thank you. Yeah, do you think we have time? Maybe this might be our last one, depending on what.
Probably. Let's see how it goes.
Great, let's do this one for now. And yeah, I just want to remind everybody that we can do an in-depth channel review with anyone who would like to via a one-to-one. So please do get those booked in, especially if we haven't had time. It's a lovely big group today, so I'm sorry we haven't been able to do everybody's. But I just wanted to have a look at this page with everybody today. I am actually going to cheat and put it into English so that I can navigate it. I hope that's okay. But one thing I wanted to call out, as I know we've talked a bit about accessibility, is this really helpful function that a lot of websites can enable. And this is an accessibility menu. And this allows individual users to change some of the settings on the website to make it more accessible for them. And I think this is a really great way to make sure that people can use your website in a way that suits them. So I think that's really great to have that integrated. And we've got some good menu options at the top. I can see again, you've got that moving carousel. It looks like you have 4 different options. So again, keeping with that best practice of being less than 5, which is perfect. And you've got a lovely range of images and kind of quite a celebratory tone for what I think is your 20th anniversary. So I think that's a really nice way of marking that. And as I go through the menus, I can see that the formatting is quite long. So this one is a very long menu bar. And so I'd think really carefully about what it is you want people to do when they get to your page. So I would think about those target audiences we've talked about and your personas and why they're coming to your website. What are the things that they're looking for? And if they're looking for kind of your projects, maybe instead you might have a sub-menu of projects that you could go ahead and look at, because it can feel a bit overwhelming when you have lots of different options. However, I really like having this I help, this you can help. I realize it would be in Polish, so people can go through and donate. So it's great you have lots of different options for people to donate. The only thing I would say is that people might not scroll all the way down to then read some of this information. And as we've pointed out before, sometimes it can be really lovely to have a story or some kind of impact information on the side that will say what different amounts of money can go towards. One of the tools we mentioned earlier is Hotjar, and I will post a link to that in the chat in a minute. But this can be a really helpful tool because what it does is it gives you a map of how far people have scrolled down. So you might have noticed when I first looked at this page, I kind of scrolled to about here, and then I thought that was all the information there was, and then I went back up. So what Hotjar will do is show you a map, and it will show you, do people scroll all the way down, or do they scroll to the top bit and then they get distracted and they do something else? And that then helps you know where to put the different information on your pages. And then the only other thing I think I'd recommend, this goes for everybody as well, is to really check the mobile view of your website. I think you've got some, really clear branding, really clear fonts here, that thinking about what those menus might look like on a mobile phone will probably change how you might want to lay that out, and thinking about how people are moving more and more to using their mobile devices as well is key. But yeah, that's just a very quick insight, as I say. And actually, I will just go back to the homepage, because another thing I liked was this kind of library of stories. I thought that the photos on there, I think, give a really personal touch to your page, and I think that's really lovely. I think the sidebar is a little busy, but this kind of section where you've got headings, in images, and a little preview text is really nice hook to get people to go ahead and look at those stories. So thanks so much for sharing. I think I will wrap up there, but very happy, as we said, to do more of those reviews in one-to-ones as well. That would be fantastic. But I think, yeah, maybe worth moving to our next steps, Svetlana, if you're happy to.
Yeah, definitely. I had to unmute myself as well. So yeah, let's look at what actions you need to take after today's session. So we've got lots of Lightful Academy courses that can help you take this learning further and really optimize your pages. So we have courses for each of the main social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and other main social media that you can use, and also website best practices. So take a look at the playlist to find courses that are relevant for what channels you have. Also, we would like you to conduct an audit of your channels. So conducting an audit is a really helpful way of taking stock of your existing website and social media pages and checking them against the best practice criteria that we have shared. We have a couple of templates to share to help you with your audit. So the first one is a website checklist, which you can use to review what you have currently, what you're currently doing well and what you can improve on your website. And another one is the social media audit template, which you can complete for each of your channels to evaluate your best performing content and the posts that are not doing so well, and draw conclusions to help you plan future content. And once you have completed an audit, make sure you list out some actions and deadlines and book in the next time when you conduct an audit. So I think Alice will share these links in the chat now. So your next steps are to audit your pages, check that your channels are set up well and with the right tech and features, and of course, book your next one-to-one with us. So if we didn't get a chance to review your page today, you see that there is not enough time to review them all, unfortunately, but we would love to continue, and we would love to have such a personalized website or social media review during our one-to-ones. So please go ahead and book one-to-one with any of our team. Or if you'd like to talk about something that we have mentioned today in more detail, we can do that as well. So yeah, use the link in the chat to book your next one-to-one with us. And we are also excited to introduce you to our new tool, Ethical Storytelling. So this tool on the Lightful Social platform will help you make sure that your story is ethical and preserves the dignity of your characters. And the tool is really easy to use. So you can access it on Lightful Social platform, and here's the icon for it. And when you click on it, you will see the starting page and the stories that you have opened before. And you can click on Start a New Story and put your story here. So it could be a story of any length. So it could be a blog post or a social media post or any kind of text with the story that you use in your digital channels. And you can put your story here. And if you would like to, you can also add a story's purpose. So what you would like this story to encourage people to do. So for example, if you would like to raise awareness, or if you would like it to drive donations to your organization. And then you can click on Get AI Feedback. So our Lumi, our AI support tool, will analyze your story and give you some suggestions on how you can improve your story and make it look more ethical, and that it is that it really does tell the story that you would like to, and does it really help you complete the goal that you have mentioned here. So here are some feedback from our AI tool and some suggested improvements that you can incorporate in your text. And then you can also click on purpose, and you can also see the analysis of how this text, how this story really responds to the purpose that you have mentioned here. And you can also make adjustments to your story. And after you have done that, you can also post a story directly to your social media from here. So you can select your profiles and then continue as you usually do on Lightful Social platform. So this is how we use it. This is how we use our social storytelling with ethical impact tool. But please take a look at it and let us know what you think. And I would also like to invite you to a bonus webinar coming up next week. So on 18th of June, Beth Canter, our AI expert with over 40 years of experience in the nonprofit sector, will host a webinar exclusively for Bridge members on how to use AI tools for nonprofits. And during the session, Beth will share tips to help you responsibly harness the power of generative AI and demonstrate you how you can use start using your free tools right now. And this is also a great opportunity to meet other Bridge participants from other countries and learn from their experience as well. So don't miss out this opportunity and secure your spot via the link that Alice will share in the chat. And of course, I will also invite you to join our community. So you can network with your peers, share campaign notices, receive sector-specific news, and more on our Facebook community, where we have Bridge participants from all around the world. Or you can use WhatsApp, where you can receive Bridge session updates, reminders, and notices straight through your mobile device, and network with others in this group as well. And now we'd like to open up the floor to your questions. So feel free to raise your hand, come off mute, or also I think that we do have a question in the Q&A section. Or I see it is already answered, I guess. Yes, thank you. I see that Jasmine has already answered that. So yeah, please do come off mute or share your questions in the chat, and we would like to reply, and yeah, we would like to be helpful. Are there any questions that are not yet answered? I don't see those. I think that we have covered most of those, but if you do have any more questions, please let us know. Please type or come off mute. And while you're doing this, I think it is the time for us to launch some final polls. So the first one will ask you if you would like to make any changes to your website or your social media pages after today's sessions, where there's some tips that we have mentioned today that were useful and you think that you can use them to improve your digital channels. I see that some of you already want to make some minor changes and also some major changes as well. So yeah, I see that many of you would like to make some changes to your digital channels. And if you do need any help with that, please feel free to book a one-to-one and we can discuss it in more detail when we meet and review your digital channels. And I think that we have another poll that we could launch now before we finish. So how useful did you find this session? Was it useful for you? Did you learn something new? Were there some useful tips that you can use for your digital channels on how to improve your website and your social media? I see some votes coming through. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all of your votes.
I know we've also had a couple of questions in the chat, which I'm happy to have a look at. I got excited because Daniela asked a really great question of what is the most important statistic to include in a social media and website report. And yeah, I think a great question, and we'll cover a lot more detail in a later webinar about measuring digital success. But I think the main thing is always to be tying it back to the goals and the purpose of those pages. So if your Instagram account, if the purpose of that is to raise awareness of your organization, then you want to be measuring your impressions. So how many times have people seen your content? But if your website is to get donations, you want to see how many people have visited your donation page, how many people have donated. And there are some kind of key metrics that we can attach to all the different channels available. But ultimately, there are so many you can choose from that I would definitely start by looking at what the purpose is to make sure that the information you're reporting on aligns with the goals that you've set. But standard ones for social media would be impressions and engagement, and maybe click-throughs to your donation page as well. But I hope that's helpful. And Maria, I know you also asked about getting the donation button into your Instagram page. I posted a link a little higher up, which I'll just post down here again. They're available, the kind of nonprofit tools on Facebook and Instagram are available in some areas and they're not yet available in others. But this website will show you where they're available and what tools you can implement as well. But thanks everyone for your questions. I think that's all the questions we've had today.
Yeah, I guess this is it. So thank you very much to everyone who has joined us today. I hope it was useful for you, and we would like to continue and review your social media and your website pages in our one-to-one. So feel free to reach out. And if you do have any questions, please reach out to us anytime. Thank you for all of the good comments and have a nice day. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks everyone. Bye.